Welcome to the Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. In today's episode, we got Ganesh Krishnan. Ganesh is the founder and director of AIHELLO.com. AIHELLO.com is an AI software which runs PPC campaigns that really works. Scale your Amazon business with the PPC automation software. Welcome, Ganesh. So thank you for making it today, Ganesh, to the Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. A pleasure having you here. We want to talk about a little bit about, obviously, AIHELLO, the company itself. But before we go deep into this matter, I would really like to know more about you, about yourself, and about your background. Where are you at the moment, and how do you get where you at today? Obviously, with a successful company like AIHELLO.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you, Omar. It's a pleasure talking to you as well. A bit of a background about me. I used to work with IBM in the retail division, and at a lot of time there was a lot of forecasting to be done, and I used to lead the team. So at the time, IBM used to manufacture PCs a long time back. And they had something known as a liability. The moment you manufacture a PC, it's a liability because you have to pay all the manufacturer of those parts. So they used a lot of algorithms to decide, what PC to send it where, and forecasting of the sales. So I carried that over, and then I worked with eBay a bit of it, and then I moved on to my own e-commerce business in Amazon. And I know most of your audience is of Amazon, of Shopify, yes. On their own retail store. If you have your own, Shopify e-commerce store, it's 10 times harder than selling on Amazon, right? So we always tell people, that are off Amazon, just jump onto Amazon. So I found it very easy to jump into Amazon. And then while I was selling on Amazon, I had this itch, I need to create something that can forecast the sales of the product. And then I created this tool just for myself. And then a few of my friends wanted to use the tool, and they found it very easy. They found it intuitive. So we started, making more and more of it. And I found it easier to, to market this software rather than, sell myself. I still do sell, but, with the supply chain issues and everything, it's a bit of a struggle. Sure. So the software really helps all those people, who have the right inventory to do e-commerce marketing, to do the forecast and to get the right bid. So it's really, really beneficial to all the e-commerce sellers.
Okay, that's already very interesting. I would like to go a little bit deeper on the IBM, because I'm sure we can find some pattern in there, how you got the idea and or everything, like a little bit more detailed, how AIHELLO came to life. And yeah. IBM exactly, because you spoke about computers, or about what exactly did you do there, and how did this transition into what did you do? What you were doing today, if in any way related? Because in between you were a seller as well. You mentioned, yeah.
So this was back in 2005, 2006. At the time, AI was not a big thing. It was mostly about brute force algorithms. So the IBM research division would write up algorithms that would forecast the sales of PC. By different location, by different time, how much is going to sell. And what to place, where to place the PCs, etc. So we used to work with the IBM Research Division, and then we used to build an app that was called as a kind of a liability app that would predict, forecast for IBM, what is a liability based on, the current sales trend, based on the expected future sales trend. So a lot of this got carried over. When you think of e-commerce, a lot of it is, predicting the future as well. Sure. You need to know how much you're going to sell in the future. You need to know what is going to be the bid. There's no point, knowing about today. A lot of it is, you get the extra edge if you can predict in how many days you're going to sell out, when to order the new items. Everything is, most of the time people right now, they have a gut feeling, and they either get it right, or they're lucky. So either way, in one way. So I decided to use that kind of a forecasting algorithm initially into my own, forecasting for my own products. And then I found out, AI is really picking up, and you don't have to write those bulky, algorithms. You don't have to write, those, days on or hours on or weeks on end of algorithms. You just plug it into AI. You have a standard, AI algorithms. For example, we use something known as a long short-term memory. We use Facebook Profit, so stuff like that we use to predict and forecast. And then I decided, okay, the software is really, really similar to what was at IBM, but instead of algorithms, it's just AI. That means any new person that comes in, we don't have to write any specific algorithm for them. The AI will automatically pick up, make the forecast really, really, fast. Just takes a couple of days to, to analyze your whole seller history and then make a reasonable forecast on all of your products.
Okay, why I'm asking this is very interesting because actually for IBM 2006, I mean, there was always some kind of AI algorithm running, but there must be very, very simplified before in order to predict some sales in the future. And I mean, it's kind of logic that you then afterwards went into some kind of prediction into the sales when you were selling yourself, and you picked out of choice the Shopify instead of Amazon, because obviously with your knowledge and the AI at your fingertips from IBM, it was obviously a lot easier for you to run a Shopify store than going into a disadvantage, actually, going into Amazon, where everyone has these tools and can see what they do. So I think this is something very interesting because of the switch. And you had your Shopify store, for example. Was it very successful? Did you exit it afterwards? What happened to the store, actually?
So it's the other way around. I went into Amazon rather than Shopify. And okay. Instead of Shopify, we prefer WooCommerce because it's open source,
Okay.
So we prefer, but it's, dollar to donuts is exactly the same, right? Shopify or WooCommerce, except you host it on your own. And because we are a tech team, we really love the challenges of WooCommerce, scaling, doing everything we can. So to answer your question is the other way around. We went into Amazon, and partially because there are no really, even now, like we are actually one of the top 10 AI platforms for Amazon across the world. So there's no really good, AI for software tools for Amazon. So we really have an edge, even when it comes to Amazon. So part of this learning can be transferred over to Shopify or to WooCommerce, because if you're selling, for example, organic coffee, Amazon will tell you, where to sell, what to sell. Using our AI, you can predict what is the bid, what keywords to use. So you can use exactly the same learning onto Shopify or to WooCommerce, and then put it on Google Ads or Facebook Ads.
And that is a good thing, because you're not like bound. That's what I want to say. You're not bound to Amazon. Once you understand, and once your AI comes from outside, understands what's going on inside Amazon, then he can as well at the same time go further. There is the doors are open to outside traffic to Amazon. Everything can be done. Like, for example, listing optimization as well. Obviously, if you do it in the European Union, you will have a local team like MarginBusiness in order to do the listing optimizing correctly, because it's still, although there is AI for a listing optimization, you still need to, in the European Union, 100%, you will need manual people in order to really look over the keywords and understand the keywords, understand the culture, and to go really deep. I mean, in the US, I know there's a lot of smart people, a lot of top people who can easily do the listing optimization in combination with AI. And even the AI can bring out the best keywords. And there's only some few keywords, maybe a handful or something, which can be added into a listing. But in the European Union, it's still different because the data is a lot less. So we still have an advantage here, I would say, for many, many years to come, because in order the data to grow, we need more sellers. And once there are more sellers, obviously the data as well itself will be growing as well. But for now, I think we're good here. So yeah, it's very, very important what you explain with the tool right now. So the switch that you have done afterwards, what you mentioned, from going to Shopify to Amazon. So and now we have. Tell us about the switch into AIHELLO. So the real tool, did it directly? I mean, grew straight away, or was there some between stages where you actually, it's like a beta version, and then you said, oh, really, this tool can do something. Let's just push it out even more. How was this evolution of this tool?
Right. So before we talk about the evolution of the tool, I would like to pick on the point that you said about listing optimization.
Okay.
One thing that AI can't do is convince humans, right? So what we always say is there are two aspects to growing your e-commerce business. One is the human intelligence, one is the automation, right? They need to really, really work together. You can't think of replacing the humans with AI and expect it to, to grow. AI is just like a car, it helps you get faster somewhere. It's better than running, but you always need, a human to drive the car as well. So you need both, the man and the machine in order to go to the maximum. So listing optimization is something that we always recommend not to do it by AI and to do it by a human. Even if it's US, even if it's English, even if you have enough data on it, you cannot write jumbled up keywords and expect people to buy it. There's an emotion involved in it, right? Listing optimization is always with emotion. You can't, optimize it with data analytics, right?
Sure.
You can put specific keywords, right? You can, stuff it with keywords, but a lot of it is images, right? Emotions. It's emotional thing. The unemotional part is the data analytics part, which is the bidding, which is the right keyword, showing it to the right location, which is the right bid for the right keyword. So these are the aspects that works across e-commerce, regardless of if you're on Amazon or if you're in Shopify or if you're a WooCommerce. So once you have your product, once you have maybe your 10, 20, 100, some of our sellers have 25,000 SKUs. And what are the keywords for the product, and what is the bid for the product, and where it sells, then it doesn't matter if you're selling on Amazon or if you're selling on Shopify or if you're selling on WooCommerce. It's definitely easier to sell on Amazon because if a user comes to Amazon, they have the intent to buy, and it's more challenging on Shopify and WooCommerce. But the keywords and the AI and the statistics are exactly the same.
Sure. That was a very good point. Like, it's our main focus. What we do, our company actually, the listing optimization and localization. So we translate, we localize, and we put keywords in that only native speakers can find. So France, Germany, Spain, Italy, Sweden, Netherlands, and Poland. So this is at the moment these 7 languages. So you need to have somebody in the ground in order to pick out the keywords that an AI cannot find. It's almost impossible. And on top of it, as you said, there's already tools which write listings. This as well, it will not work. Or even pictures, because pictures from country to country is they are different, and the customers buying with their eyes. Now the attention span is so short. We need to make sure that we really get him in the first few seconds when they look at the listing. And this is still AI cannot do, but there's plenty other things definitely the AI can help us with. And I give you an example. For example, we have a very deep process for listing optimization. So we optimize, we search the keywords and everything. And there are now tools which definitely makes it a bit shorter, which help us to find some keywords maybe in a shorter time frame because of a tool which you put on top of another tool. But there's still many things, manual processes involved. And if you don't do these steps and you know how to put these tools together, you will as well not be able to find these keywords that the AI as well the AI cannot find. So I think we're good. The AI is definitely helping, and I think this is how we should see it. As you said, they should help us in order to be faster, to be smarter, and to be sharper through these tools. So going back to AIHELLO, please elaborate a little bit more how everything happened, because this is a really exciting part, and the development of it, you can be very proud of it.
Yep. So how we work is we work on a process known as clustering. So when there are lots of products, we create some kind of humans call it a category, but computers call it kind of a cluster. So we put them into different clusters, and then each cluster is unique, in how it behaves. It sells in a particular location, it sells with a particular trend, it sells with a particular keywords, those kind of things. For example, organic coffee, or dark roast coffee, or black coffee, anything to do with coffee, for example, has a similar kind of a trend. But if you think of organic, it could be in a different location, right? But coffee could be in a different location. So what we do is we take each product and then we create topics out of it, and then we put into different clusters. And then we have the history of how these things work. And based on the historical sales, we are able to make, if any new product comes in, we deduct what is the topic of this product, and based on the topic, we know exactly where it's going to sell, how much it's going to sell, because we already have the history for each topic.
Wow, and this sounds so perfect because it's really working. You have the companies which are behind already. You have the customers who are using your tool, and everything goes in line. And if we talk about AI, obviously it learns along the way. So yes, it can predict, it learns, it sees the market, the different situations. It will tell you, listen, you need to do this or you need to do that in order to get this amount of sales, for example, correct?
Yes. So it does those action as well. So it goes and updates the bid. So there is actionable item and what we call as a one-touch autopilot. So you just click on a button and then you set, what is your advertising costing want it to be, or the ROAS. Do you want it to be 4x or do you want it to be 5x? And the AI works continuously to make sure that you hit that ROAS.
Wow, that's just amazing. In order to understand it like 100%, I think everyone needs to watch this tool themselves, download it from your website or contact you, get a demo, and understand how they can improve their sales, because this is not only for small sellers, this is as well for very big sellers. So where is it more targeted, for smaller sellers or for bigger sellers?
The bigger you are, the better it is, because the more products you have, the more keywords you have. I think some of our customers are really one of the largest customer in Latin America. We have one of the largest seller in Canada. So we do have, large sellers that find it really, really beneficial to use our platform.
Obviously, the more data you have, the smarter the tool gets. So I think this is very logic as well. So yes, yeah, I think this is wow, this is already a lot. I really love the tools, like the AI tools and everything what comes along with it, because actually they can learn, this is not just like a tool you put on and that's about it. No, it can really help you in your everyday life, help you to understand everything better. You don't have to do the research all day long. You really look at the tool and it gives you the basic and some good information of how you can sell. One question, how can anybody contact you in order to see a demo, in order to understand more about AIHELLO?
Gotcha. So you can just go to our website and it's called AIHELLO.com, and you can either do a live chat or you can send me a mail on Ganesh@AIHELLO.com.
Okay.
So anyone is fine.
Okay, great. So that's perfect. So best would be to connect with you directly through email. Are you as well on LinkedIn? So is there any connection? Everything okay? LinkedIn? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's great as well. One more question: if there would be any message for entrepreneurs out there, especially for sellers, maybe who are using tools, who are using not tools, or who want to do more in their entrepreneurial journey, what will be your message for them?
I think the message is always, what is very cliched is a lot of hard work, but you need the right balance between human intelligence and, automation. You need to, mix and marry both of this if you want to get ahead, because a lot of these big time sellers, they use a lot of this automation. They make thousands of edits to the ads, every single day. You can't compete with them by putting, one single ad, one single, keyword and a particular bid and then forget about it. You always need to marry this human intelligence, this business plan with this automation in order to succeed.
Definitely. This is what I always said, always testing. The more you test, the luckier you get, that's I think that's how the AI is working, Yeah. I mean, obviously it's much more intelligent, but if you put it like on a very easy note, this is what it is saying. Yeah, that's already really nice. Thank you so much, Ganesh, for being here with me today, for replying to my questions, and wish you best of luck with AIHELLO, and let's catch up in 6 to 12 months. I'm sure the tool will be already a lot smarter and will do a lot more things.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, Omar.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.